Welcome to Hear Me Out and Pass the Scissors, a podcast where two long-distance scrapbooking friends talk creativity, chaos, and cutting things up on purpose. I'm Lisa from Life and Layouts on YouTube.
And I'm Nicole from ColieBing. Whether you're scrapbooking at your desk, your kitchen table, or just in your head, grab your scissors and hear us out.
So, hear me out. This isn't just stickers and likes.
Nope. It's years of trial and error, late night editing, and the kind of behind the scenes chaos nobody ever sees.
Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to grow as a scrapbooker and a content creator. From the early days of tiny design teams to scrapbook hops to the myth of instant growth. We've been through it.
We'll talk about the parts you don't see on camera, the fails that still make us laugh, and why, after all the work, we're still here, still creating, and still loving it.
So whether you're chasing your own creative dreams or just curious what happens off camera, grab your scissors
and hear us out.
So let's talk about what it was like in our early days. What was the first thing that you did, whether it was design team or a hop or collaboration? Do you remember what the first one was?
So like the first thing that wasn't just me?
Yes.
I feel like quick scroll, because I feel like I started just learning camera equipment and stuff, showing SG kits, and then I started putting kits together. I think the first thing, and I don't want to spoil the next episode, but the first like team or first doing something for somebody else was a sketch challenge blog, and I'm pretty sure it was called Nuts About Sketches. The sketches were like hand drawn, and I think her name was Sean. That's like all I can remember. Yeah, I think she designed sketches for somebody else now. I didn't even look to see if the blog was still there.
She does, she's part of Chrissy's Beautiful Life too, right? When she does her like 30 days of sketches, I think.
I don't know, because I feel like I never did that challenge. Like I never signed up for that one. 30 days of anything was just way too big of a commitment for someone like me. And I feel like I heard some of the names associated with that every time it comes around, but it's so much content that a lot of times I can't figure out who's who and what's what.
Right. But her sketches are very noticeable. Like she does like it almost looks like she uses like maybe a permanent marker or something.
Yeah, I liked that with her sketches, because I think the only thing I had seen at the time was like maybe page maps and then, SG, which were a little bit more like structured. And hers kind of helped my brain. Like there was no measurements on there. And I liked that because it was kind of like you could interpret it wider. For some reason, when I would look at the more structured stuff, I felt like it had to be that exact size. Everything had to be layered that exact way. Hers, I think, just kind of helped me look a little differently at sketches, like way back in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think we have like a 5-year difference between first videos.
Yes, we do. Because I came on board well after you did, I think, because I have like 7 years and I think you have like 12 years.
2013 was the first video.
Yeah, so 12 years and I have 7. So yeah, five years. You have 5 years on me.
You would think I would be so much further along.
You were on 2 major company design teams. I feel like that's pretty.
Yeah, I still don't know how I'm still questioning how they let me in.
Okay, so let's take a step back, because I did start with our first design team, but I didn't think about, because like I started very quickly collaborating with people.
I feel like I was very much alone. Like I would look and like I watched a lot of YouTube, and so I would like look at things that I liked from other people, and I would be like, okay, I want to figure out a way to make that make sense to me and what I'm figuring out and what I'm learning as far as like recording and editing and stuff. Doing the SG kits was my bread and butter for learning how to edit, because I didn't have to design. I could just turn the camera on, make the layout, and then edit the video later. I think design team, at least for the sketch one, that was where I kind of did a little bit more of my own, and that kind of slowed down the editing process because I would have a lot more clips. I would pause in between doing things. But yeah, I didn't do a lot of hops. I don't know if I wasn't aware of them. I think it could also be the fact that 2013, 2014, it was very much just if you looked up scrapbook process on YouTube, you got a lot of people, but it was like none of the people were connected.
Hmm.
And if they were, it was through like two peas in a bucket and they were all garden girls, or it was like, I don't think 30 Days of Sketches went back that far, but it was like groups of people that were already sort of established. And there was just a lot of people like me just kind of out there figuring out, putting stuff out there. The SG kits got a lot of eyes on them, I think. I think that was, you had said that was how you found me.
Hmm.
But yeah, I didn't either know about hops or know about growth or anything like that. I literally just threw stuff out there and was like, let's see what happens. And I remember like, I would be like, oh my God, somebody commented. How did they find me? Like, who is this?
I think when I started, I did like 2 layouts, I think, and then I did a weekend crop, and it was 3 or 4 videos. I recorded every single day. I'm using my cell phone camera. It's super shaky. It reminds me of Blair Witch. It's really, really bad. Do not go back and watch that. That's that little set.
Oh,
But right after that, I don't know how I connected with Vanessa. I know I watched her videos, and she is a single page scrap girl. And I don't know if she reached out to me or I reached out to her. I feel like I reached out to her, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to do something together?" And so we came up with what's called One Sketch Two Ways, and it was we created we didn't create. We found like 4 sketches, 2 double pages and 2 single pages. And we both worked those sketches. So it was like a 1 month collab between the 2 of us. I did a little giveaway of stuff that I got from Tuesday Morning because I found like the entire Echo Park beach set or summer set or something like that. I did a bunch of like I did a little giveaway after at the end of it. That was so much fun because her layouts were so different than mine. And to have somebody else work the same sketch and put something up. And I felt like we were both very small content creators. We were both like within a couple months.
yeah. I feel like you came in during a time when hops was how you grew. Like, especially if you were a small channel. Man, I feel like, like why was this not happening when I was like I've literally spent years just alone. So I remember when I found hops, it was like, what is this? I'm confused.
Mm-hmm. And I do feel like the hops are different now than they were back then because one of my favorite hops that I was on was what was it called? The telephone hop game. And the collaboration that went into that was massive. I think ended up being like 5 teams because we had to make it smaller. And I want to say maybe 5, no more than 10 people were on the team. And the very first person got to choose whatever they wanted to do. There was no restrictions. You could use a sketch, you could make a layout, you could do whatever you wanted. And then you passed your layout. No video, nothing. Just your layout says number 2. They created a layout based on your layout. Just like the telephone hop, or just like
So by the time you get to the end, you don't know what the
right.
starting creation looked like.
But before we could post our videos, all 10 people had to create their layouts and edit their videos. Like we had to all schedule it because it went every single day a video went up. And so you couldn't have a video not go up because then if somebody like the next person posted theirs, it would kind of break the telephone.
Yeah.
And I would never do it now because I don't think anybody is doing it for one. And 2, I'm not hosting that because getting people together to like
I feel like the one that I hosted where it was only 5 of us, and I was trying to remember when I was making the notes. It was the monthly celebrations one, right? And I'm trying to think of what my original inspiration was. And I think it was because it was probably Nicole McGork used to have like a seasonal layout. It had to have been her or somebody that I was watching at the time. And then the series like stopped. And I was like, man, I really liked knowing that like in January there was going to be like a snow inspiration, February was going to be like love themed or whatever. So I remember like reaching out to people, and I wish I could remember like why the five of us were in the same realm of existence. You know what I mean? I think it was Crafty Maven.
Probably, yeah.
I think we all at that time were on Crafty Maven. And I think even though Vanessa does like mixed media, I think we all kind of had a more linear, more traditional style where like a lot of the other people had like mixed media and like shaker bits and just like very different.
Hmm.
It could also be that they said no too. I don't I don't remember, but I feel like that was like the one hop that I think I actually saw like growth from,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed hosting it. I've since learned I kind of feel like there's a threshold that like when you hit a certain number of subscribers, like those hops just don't, and I don't know why they don't really have growth anymore. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if people just don't like clicking, the next video, or they don't want to sit in a series. I'm not real sure. And I also have learned I don't like hosting.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody that's going to chase you down for your stuff. And if you don't turn it in, you don't turn it in. You're not on the list. I'm not somebody that's going to be waiting until midnight the day before it's going to go. Like I can't.
Right. And what I find that hilarious because you are not a planner. So
No.
there's a lot of times where you're posting the same day, like your video is edited and rendering, and you're like,
It's one of those things where like, yeah, if I don't have like a lot of times like my simple story stuff will be ready to go, and I can't share it until I see it on their socials, and then I can go ahead and put it live on mine because they may have a delay. Like one of mine was supposed to go up, and I think it's going to get pushed back by a week because now all the Christmas stuff is what's on the socials, but I don't know.
yeah,
So I just check every day, and if I see it, I can let the video go out. But anything else that's like not attached to like a due date for somebody else in their social media, yeah. If that thing's done, it's got links, it's got a thumbnail, it's ready to go. Here you go, have at it. No schedule, no. Sometimes it's 7 in the morning, sometimes it's 10 at
yeah.
night. I'm like, surprise.
So let's go back to the monthly celebration because that was the first time that we worked together.
That one was like a favorite, and I think it was just the topic because I could do whatever I wanted. It wasn't based on like a sketch. It wasn't based on. Sometimes hops will have like a really weird theme, and I'm just kind of like, thanks for inviting me, but no.
Yeah, there is a for those out there listening, there is a Facebook group for content creators that is for hosting or posting hops and stuff. So like you can go into that group and see other people who are like, oh, I want to host this hop, and anybody that wants to join can join.
Is there two, or are they for two different? I feel like I'm in two. Is one more for just creators to get help on the back end, and one is for if you're doing a
Yeah,
hop?
yeah. There's two different Facebook
Okay.
groups, and so yeah, there are times where I have gone in there and I'm like, oh, that hop looks really interesting, but then for whatever reason, it doesn't line up with whatever I have going on. I think the last one I was like in the middle of 30 days of layout, so I was like,
I was gonna say, I remember you mentioned one, and I was like, okay, but you don't like to have two videos scheduled on the same
yeah,
day. So how are you gonna work this in?
yeah. So I'm like, oh, I can't do it. But then there's other times I'll go in there and I'm like, wow,
There are certain things where I think I've mentioned this before. If I'm good friends with somebody and they ask me to do something, I will be like, oh God, I don't know how I'm gonna find time. I will make time to do Sarah Scrap's school hop every year. And then if you like bulldoze me into something, I'm like, "Ooh, okay."
yeah. Sarah Scraps is another one that I do every year. I think,
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people that like I used to do hops with too, that like they're either just not like they've moved on to other things, or they're not as active, or I don't know. It's like you kind of like come together during certain seasons, and then you kind of go off on your own.
yeah, absolutely. So what about Crafty Maven? Because that's also another one. I guess that was before your monthly celebration.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that we were together. Like we were on the team together, but I didn't connect with you and I didn't talk to you. It wasn't like we were friends and hanging out.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I wish I had a better memory. I'm almost tempted to try to go back and like Facebook Messenger and see like how far back that goes. But
Yeah.
I I looked at the channel today before we got on here because I was like, how far back was that? And I want to say she had videos for like 2 years before my name started showing up. So I must have responded to one of her, I think she did like a video where it was like a design team call. And I knew about them because she was another one that was obsessed with the daily videos from 2Ps. And when they shut down, she really wanted to provide that same kind of daily inspiration. So she basically just reached out to like all these independent YouTube people and was like, hey, I'm going to create like this community, but you had to put your video on her channel.
Yeah. And the idea behind it was pretty awesome because we had a weekly or monthly schedule and every day was a different topic. And it allowed for one channel to host everything from social media or not, from mixed media to sketches to,
Yes, it had a really diverse type of, like, that's why I said I had to have been looking at different people and being like, let me reach out to this person and see if they want to do a hop, and they'd either say yes or no. And I think it just kind of naturally was, at least for monthly celebrations, it was, we all kind of had like similar styles as far as posting and content, so it just kind of worked out. And I feel like we all had good growth, but it could have just been the season too.
I feel like there's also times in both of our channels where I feel like for whatever reason there's really good growth. And we've had that conversation about like what exactly am I doing that is pushing me to get this growth? Because
Yeah, what's stuck to the wall?
yeah,
Which noodle stuck to the wall?
right, exactly. Be something you did today, something you did last month.
I think there's like this thing, and like I said, starting at 5 different, I'm 2013, you're 2018, was two completely different like experiences. I learned by like trial and error and like, okay, I did not enjoy that. Let's not do that again. And I feel like you came out of the gate like researching other people's analytics and you're like figuring out like what works for other people. And I think that there's a belief that just doing a hop, you'll get all these subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that can kind of happen a lot more. I feel like the smaller my channel was, the more like hops helped out. But then I feel like you kind of reach a point where all of, the different channels in the hop overlap so much. There's not a big pool of subscribers that aren't already subscribed to you and aren't already watching you. So the potential for subscriber growth right there, you kind of start hitting the ceiling on that. Typically, it's kind of similar with like design team. Hops and design teams are typically a two-way street. Yes, from the viewer standpoint, you've got this curated theme and you've got like a bunch of videos that you can sit down and you can binge while you're crafting or whatever, and maybe you'll find new channels to watch. But essentially, when you're doing a hop, you're trading views, you're trading subscribers. You're hoping that people that watch you don't watch me, vice versa. It's kind of like a design team is looking at your potential pool of customers. So do they want to work with you, or do they want to work with somebody that has 10 times the amount of eyes on you?
Right.
So I think sometimes people look at hops as just like a fun social thing to do. And then some people look at them specifically thinking that this is going to be the key to their growth. And my personal experience has just been, you do you. And the people that like you are the people that are going to watch you, regardless of how many hops you participate in. And you kind of have to just figure out what your brand is. And I say that loosely because I feel like you're over here like literally branding yourself and like marketing yourself. And I'm over here just trying to curate expectations.
But I think that doing the hops early on is a good way.
Yeah, as a new channel, it's like a really good way to kind of just get your name out there in like a healthy way or in like a polite way. I don't know how to word that. Instead of just screaming into the void like I was doing, you have like a little bit of a handhold because now you're part of like a group where maybe somebody will take a chance on you because you're in a list of videos, and maybe somebody, new eyes are going to look at you and then they'll say, oh, I really liked that. Or even if it's something where like I watch people where I like their chatter, But whatever craft they're making, I'm like, no, I'm not going to scrap lift it, or I'm not, whatever. But I want to listen to them talk to me for 30 minutes because I think that they are extremely cute and entertaining, and I'm here for it. You're not always going to hit with what you're making, and you're not always going to hit with your personality.
Yeah. And I feel like with me, I've made this conscious decision or just had this thought process about my channel and what I want my channel to be like. And I was thinking, I was like, this channel could possibly be a sitcom about my life that is not in order. Like, just randomly
Mhm.
select a Netflix show and you have no idea what
Yeah.
what episode you're gonna get or what's happening, and you're just dropped into it, and here's what's going on in my life right now, and today is from
Mhm.
2018 and tomorrow is from 2025.
I also think, though, when I get people asking me, like, "Hey, can you recommend channels?" I have always classified your channel, whether it's today or 5 years ago, as one that I consider a teaching channel.
Mhm.
Yes, you're gonna talk about the photos and you're gonna go off on a little tangent, but I'm like, if you want that good, like, teachy type of, you're gonna learn something today, go to this one or this one or this one. Like, I kinda categorize people where I'm like, if you just want a good time and you wanna see somebody make a giant mess, go to this one. If you wanna see, like, some super intricate, like, you're never gonna do it, but it's entertaining, go to this one. Like,
Yeah, and I think that's goes back to the hops themselves and how you can get so much variety in a hop and why it is something to do. So if you are part of a hop, going and watching the other videos in the hop, you have no idea what's going to be there. It could be somebody who is very similar to me.
yeah, I feel like the ones that I like watching are the ones that are always with, like, a sketch or a class or something where the starting point, like, all of these completely different people had the same sketch, because I wanna see that in 12 different variations. Same thing with, like, you'll see people that, like, have the same collection, and they're gonna make a bunch of different stuff out of it.
Which I think is going back to your hop that you just or yeah, that you just recently did, which was the creating with the sketches hop. I think that was like 2 years ago that we did that one.
Yes.
That one was really awesome because we all started with the same sketch, and there were a variety of sketches that came with it as
I was gonna say that one yeah, that one didn't have the same exact sketch that we all started with because, creating with sketches was SG's revamp of a previous class that they used to have, where basically you're learning how to, like, deconstruct sketches and modify them and stuff, and I feel like if you're really experienced with that, it's a little bit redundant, but what was nice about the revamp of it was, like, week 1 wasn't just one specific sketch like it was in the original. It was like, oh gosh, it was like 1 page week 1, and it had different options, and it had different modifications, and so not like, you could either do the original or you could pick one of the modifications.
but the modifications were the modification of the sketch. So that you could even if somebody did a modification, you could still see the base of the sketch.
Mhm. Yeah, but I mean, it was nice seeing, like, I feel like you did a 2-page for everything,
Mhm.
even, like, where the original sketch was a 1 page. I know I switched a couple of them based on, I'm one of these ones where depending on how many photos I have is it worth a second page?
Okay, so one last topic on this before the likes and talking about our early days. Do you have a favorite hop or design team that you were on?
I feel like those are 2 completely different experiences. Because, like, a team, typically you're given something, cut files, product, something. Whereas, like, hop is more eyes
Okay.
on you. Whereas, like, hops go, I feel like probably monthly celebrations just because I was very much in a season of, like, stash diving and, like, crazy scene building and, like, leaning into, like, seasonal themes. I don't know that I can politically say what my favorite design team is because currently I am
Well, no, I'm
being.
talking about early on, not anything current. Not the last,
Oh,
yeah, like
early?
early on design teams, those small designs.
Yeah, I was on Nuts About Sketches. Three Scrappy Boys was a kit club. So that was, like, the first time I experienced somebody sending, like, product. That was kinda fun. I really stretched myself on those. Like, those are some really old videos, but they had some good concepts in them. I should send you one of those. I would say probably either monthly celebrations or I didn't do it as, like, a hop. it was run through a private forum where we all worked through the original 6x6 sketch class from Scrapbook Generation. I really liked that. That one got really good like engagement too, because I did a lot of like prep videos that people seemed to like. I did like a layout share at the end and like a review of the class that people really seemed to like. And I found it funny because those are the videos that I hate to film. Like it doesn't make any sense. But if somebody asks me in a comment like to keep doing something, I'm like, okay, I can do it. If you want to see prep, I'll do prep. It's fine because it's one of those things where it's like I remember watching people and being like, man, I really like when she does this. And then when she would stop doing it, I was like, dang it.
Yeah. I feel like we are also always chasing that high of getting 1,000 views or getting a ton of likes or whatever the situation is, getting a lot of comments.
Oh, yeah. I feel like you pay more attention to, I think we had this conversation where I didn't even realize that I needed to scroll over to the right. I didn't even notice that like the thumbs up and thumbs down. I didn't even notice that I was getting thumbs down. And I was like, oh, we don't need to look at that again.
There's a reason why you have to scroll.
I feel like for me, I only notice the views when they seem off, and they've seemed off for like a year. I feel like most of my stuff, when I would put it out, it would kind of top out around like 900 to 1,000 views. And to me, that's like 25% of my subscribers. And that's decent to me. Lately, it's been like 200. So it's kind of like, is it me? Is it the season for other people? Is it the season of the community in general? Is it long form versus short form? There's so many different variables that you're just kind of like, why is my noodle not sticking to the wall?
And I think that goes right into our next topic, which is the myth of instant growth. How we have put in a lot of work to get to where we are now. And there are people who, just because TikTok and becoming viral is just a thing that happens now. And I was actually watching a video for research about YouTube, and it was talking about the fact that you can put in a ton of work and never see any growth from it. But then you say one thing or you have one little niche that goes off and you become viral. But the likelihood of that happening is very slim.
Especially, I feel like when I've watched different statistics and analysis videos on YouTube and stuff like that, it's geared more towards like gamers, influencers, vloggers, beauty people. Like craft videos is tiny in the scope of being able to like apply things that they're saying. You know, they're talking about different things and you're like, that doesn't apply to me. That's not going to help. I don't really have a solution. I just keep plugging along, keep doing me. I've had a couple instances where I'm like, dang, I feel like I've been in these streets forever, like jumping myself into a one-person gang. And then no hate to anybody, but there's been a couple, and I'm not going to name anybody, there's been a couple people that I've seen where they're either really big on like Instagram, or maybe they have a brand or a store or something, and like they're really successful in an area that I don't exist in. And then you get excited because you're like, oh my gosh, now they're going to have videos and I'm going to be able to watch them. And then it clicks and you watch them just run past you at 10,000 in like the first 2 weeks. And you're like, I love that for her. But at the same time, I'm out here alone.
Yeah. And I think it's going back to the hop stuff too, and kind of grabbing onto their coattails. So if that's a possibility of that person who is succeeding for whatever reason, their videos went viral, or
yeah, I feel like it's hard to not get kind of wrapped up in like the analytics and the views and the subscribers, because it's really the only tool that YouTube kind of gives you to see a growth. And I really, really, really try to focus on just quality over quantity. Like if I'm only having 300 people watch my content, but those 300 people are the same people that are cheering me on in my Facebook group and leaving comments or shopping through links, like that's my little gang. And I love them. And if there's only 300 of them, then that's fine. I don't know where the other 3,700 subscribers are at. Maybe they're busy. I don't know. And I try to just really be like, okay, I see the statistics. I don't really understand them. I don't really know what to do other than to just keep being me, keep putting up the content that I want to make. If I have to edit something or I have to create something that I'm just annoyed by, it takes the fun out of the YouTube aspect of it. And I know you get like high editing.
It is.
Like that is your thing.
Like I do it all the time.
You love it. And I think that's why enjoy putting out so much content.
Yeah. I think that having the ability to edit on my iPad does get me off of doom scrolling. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to watch TikTok or even YouTube. I don't like that attention span isn't there for me. And I want to do something where I feel like I'm productive.
Yeah.
And if that means editing videos, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's just a part of your brain that makes sense to you.
Yeah. And I think that going back to that instant growth part of it is that you have to enjoy this because you are going to be out in the streets sometimes yelling into the void saying, please watch my video.
Yeah. Sometimes I've had a couple people, like if you reach out and you ask me, I'm going to be helpful, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of a slap in the face to be like, I've been doing this for too long at this point. It would be a disservice to somebody to just give them the keys and be like, here's your fast track. You don't have to put in the work. You don't have, no, like you have to find your people. You have to find what works for you. You have to figure out if you like editing. If you don't like editing, you're not going to enjoy it. Like, what is your reason for why? If your reason for why is the sharing in the community, 100% go for it. If your why is views and likes and subscribers and ad revenue, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think too with sharing information, there's some information that I don't have a problem with sharing. The equipment that I use, the math that's on my table, those
Mhm.
I don't mind sharing. But going back to what you were saying about you have to find your own viewership, just because it works for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for somebody new. And you may come in and try to do something similar to me and you're not being authentic to yourself. And people are going to see that.
Yeah, and it's that's why I tell people, like, you got to find out what works for you. Like, yes, watch other people's videos, figure out what you like about their editing, figure out what you like about either their voiceover. Some people do like us where you take out the audio, you speed it up, and you come and explain it later. Some people prefer to kind of explain it in real time or scrap in real time and, in a sense, edit less and then have like a longer video or something. That was never my style, but it could be because that was never my style of viewing either. I was more of like, I kind of want it done quicker.
I can tell you why.
So you have to figure out like, what do you like as a viewer? What are you willing to do work wise? And then try to figure out what's your niche? Like what do you want to share? Why do you want to share it?
Yeah, and I think that understanding that this is a job, like, yes, it's fun, and yes, I love doing it, and it absolutely goes back to the if you do what you love, then you're not actually working. But at the end of the day, you have to put the hours in.
I feel like we're still a little bit on two different sides of the street with that. I feel like you look at it as a job. And I feel like I am still 2013 me throwing things at the wall and being like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know where we're here. I'm always going to be a mess. I'm never going to have anything together.
But going back to not having it together, that's not necessarily true either, because there's times where you're like, okay, I got to clock in. Like, I got to get upstairs. I got to.
Yeah, I do technically clock in, meaning like I'm going to go in here for a couple hours and not scrub a toilet right now. Like I kind of clock into different things during the day, but I feel like it's deadlines for other people that keep me on track. If I didn't have a single team or a single hop or a single collaboration going on, I don't know how much content
You
I would
wouldn't
be
be
putting
clocking
out.
in.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have the drive. Even if you were like, "Hey, do you want to jump on a call and touch paper?" I'd be like, "I mean, I guess." But that's why I sign up for classes too, is because there's the motivation of the community and like the other students that are sharing their layouts and like talking about it and stuff. That's what I get all like, yeah, I'm there.
Oh, the Facebook groups that SG puts on, even now, like I'll still go back years from that 6x6 paper pad class that we did together and look through that gallery and see
Yep.
all the different ways that different people have seen the same sketch.
I know, it's my favorite because you all started with the same thing and you all saw a different thing, pulled different product.
Yeah. And sometimes there are really intricate stuff, and then there's sometimes that there's just very basic stuff, and both of them are so beautiful that it's like I can take inspiration from both of them.
Yep. And that's why I always had to tell myself that I wasn't allowed to look at the gallery until I finished my layout and then I posted it because I am easily influenced. And I look at classes as a way to stretch myself. So I'm not allowed to look.
And see, I am okay with being influenced because there's nothing going on up here. Like it's all black.
I
So
think
I need
I've had too many runs of like sketch bundles and classes where like I've come out with like favorite layouts or like really crazy just things that I was like, this is amazing. And I got to the point where I was like, don't look at anything because then it makes me rely on myself. So to me, it's
yeah.
like cheating. I'm like, don't do it.
Let's talk about the things you don't see on camera. So the scheduling and the filming and editing. We've touched a little bit.
I feel like that's more you.
Yeah.
Take it away because I know.
Well, I want to talk about tech issues. I think that we've kind of touched on all the other stuff, right? But you've had a couple of times recently where you've had some issues with your camera and volume on your camera. So, like, how do you feel
Yeah,
about that? And what do you do when stuff like that happens?
I'm convinced it's user error. I mentioned, I don't remember which episode, that the camera I've used for the longest time, I couldn't figure out. I'm like, I'm like, I know I recorded this. Where's the file? So I kind of chalked it up to possibly maybe the camera's dying. Like it's over 10 years old. I probably need to replace it. So I go on Amazon and I look up what like the equivalent model today would be. And there's a big difference between $400 and $1,200. And I was like, I am very much still a hobby person here. No, there's no writing that off. So I had to kind of start looking around, and thankfully, YouTube University will teach you anything and everything. And with vlogging and people doing all kinds of stuff, I found another camera that I'm like, okay, this should work. The mount should work on my setup that has been made for me. And I am convinced I have to be bumping something because I've done two like real time videos. I think they were both unboxings where I'm talking and I'm showing stuff. I go open the clip and there is not an ounce of audio, like not even an audio file.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't figure out what it is. I've had to do a voiceover to fix one, and another one I was like, really bad word, I'm gonna just refilm it. I don't know. I feel like I have to be bumping something. And now that I know, like I can see there's like a little thing where like you snap or make noise, you can see like the little light going, that I have to tell myself to like look.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I've started doing where like I do almost like a test where I just start screaming at it and then play it back for a couple of seconds to make sure that there's sound. But listen, me and tech, we're not good. I've gone through desktop computers. You're always yelling at me about every time I'm like, oh, my SD card's full. Because I don't edit anything until I'm like, I have to. I'm out of space.
How big is your SD card?
Which one?
So I have two SD cards. I'm going to just explain to you what I have. I have two SD cards. They're both 128 gigs. My other one sits in my desk, and it's just a backup just in case, for whatever reason, I run out of space. But I can't tell you the last time I used it.
Okay, I'm bad. I swapped them out. I have a 128, I have a 64, and I have a couple 32s. And like, if I need to go downstairs and take pictures of stuff, I just grab an SD card and go. If I'm taking pictures of the football game, I just grab an SD card and go. Because I know that the photos will fit.
Right.
It's the video.
This is how different we are. I have an SD card that's specific for videoing. It doesn't like my camera, or I take it out to put it in the computer, but that's...
Yeah, you said it doesn't leave your... There are times where if I have like especially like big room clean outs, or if it's like a layout that has like 20 something different clips, they're on different cards, they're on my desktop, I'm over here like looking for stuff. I have a video, the one that I was saying I can't drop this Simple Stories video until they publish my layout first. I could not find the first clip. No idea. At this point, I'm like, if I used my old camera, because I've been swapping back and forth between them, if I used my old camera, it may have eaten the footage. Like, so I just kind of chalked it up to, you know what? Nobody needs to see me die cut banners. That's all it was.
Wait, I didn't realize that you were still using your old camera that is eating your files.
Because I got mad. It did it like when I did the haul, and I was like, I don't know if did I bump something and I turned off the audio, or I don't know what the problem is, and I'm not tech savvy enough to figure out what the problem is. And then if I'm not in the mood to sit through 6 hours of tech videos trying to problem solve yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I just dug out the old one and I was like, listen, I just need you to make one video. That's why I didn't get rid of it. And what's annoying is the new one that I use, it only has so much zoom. Whereas the one that I've used forever, I can zoom all the way in and you can see me like layering dickers and it's like really good. If I want to zoom in now, I have to actually stretch the screen on like the editing software. And I don't know from like a viewer standpoint, because I don't go back and watch my videos like you do.
Mm-hmm.
You let it slip that you watch your own videos like 3 times before you publish it. And I'm over here like, I don't know.
So let me give you my process since you brought it up. So
it's going to be beautiful.
Yes. My camera records on, it's called fast motion, and it's 4 times the speed. So when it comes out of the camera on the SD card, 20 minutes of actual me scrapbooking is a 5-minute clip. And that's the highest that it will go. It will only do 5-minute clips, which is actually 20 minutes. So I have to be mindful that at 20 minutes, I need to be hitting that record button again. Which when you told me that you had hours of video because you just got up and walked away.
I hope we weren't going to mention it. I was like, don't do it. Yeah, I will leave to go pick up kids from school and this thing is still going and I forget until I go to edit it. And I'm like, after I've sped it up to 4 times, I'm like, why is this thing 2 hours long? Like, there's no way. And it's just my like ruler sitting there for an hour and a half.
From my camera, it goes to my computer and I put all of the clips together on Clipchamp, which is just a Microsoft based.
I can't believe you can remember to like pay attention and like hit record again. I would never be able to do that.
So it's been a long time and I've had the same camera. There is a very, very faint sound that it makes when it clicks off. And I'm just so used to it that I'll look up and also it's muscle memory too, because there were times where I'll look up and I'm like, oh, and it's like at 4 minutes and 57 seconds. Like it is right at 5 minutes. And I'm looking up to make sure that I'm still recording.
That would drive me absolutely nuts. That would be me buying another camera because I'm annoyed.
It goes to my it goes to my computer. I put all of the clips together. Then it goes on my Google Drive. From there, I download it to my iPad. So I don't really watch it because all I have to do is like dump them into the Clipchamp together. So from there, goes in my Google Drive, downloads to my iPad. I edit the video to take out anything that is sitting there doing nothing, die cutting stuff, adhering photos down. All of that is clipped together. And then also I put in the transition between those video clips where it cut off. I then come back and watch the video to do the voiceover. I then re-edit the video with the voiceover. Then I'll upload it to YouTube and I will watch the video again to get all the times that I said, I'm going to link this video below, or I'll link.
Oh my God, do you want to know how I do that?
So here's why I can't do that. Because when I go, I stop and start my voiceovers multiple times. I'll forget a sentence or I'll be halfway through and I'll be like, that doesn't make any sense at all. So let me start over. So I can't, because then I'm cutting the voiceover, the parts that I've said that didn't make any sense.
I would love to interview somebody that watches both of us and be like, what is your impression of the raw dog in it one time through?
Why do you like both of those people?
Oh, I breathed too hard. I have to stop. Girl, I don't care. Listen to me breathe. The cat fell in one and I was like, are you good?
Okay. And then on top of that, so my video clips, because I am deathly afraid of losing clips. The raw video stays on the SD card until the video is uploaded. The put together clips, the ones where I've pieced together all those 5-minute videos, stays on my Google Drive until the video is uploaded. So I have one set on the SD card, I have one set on Google Drive, and it stays on my iPad until I listen to it that last time to get all of the affiliate links. And every time I said I'm going to link something or whatever, it stays on the iPad until the video is up. So I have 3 different places that I could possibly find video clips.
I don't want to say that I don't care. It's more of I don't like editing as much as you do. So I almost like use whoever watches that video first, you're beta watching that thing. And I've had maybe like 5 times where somebody's been like, there's no audio or like something. And I'm like, thank you. I'm gonna take it down and put it back up. One person messaged me and she said, I was literally in the middle of watching your video and it just turned off. And I was like, yeah, give it like 20 minutes. And fix something. I'm sorry. There's no quality control. There's no.
And there's one video that you have up recently. I think it's one of your unboxings. You said, oh yeah, it was one that didn't have the audio and you re-recorded it. And you were like, yeah, it's only like 20 minutes. And I went to watching it and it was like 40 minutes. And I was like, what? So I watched it at the 20-minute mark. You're like saying goodbye, your intro, and then there is 20 minutes of black screen.
Are you kidding? And you're telling me now?
Because I was like, what is she? And there's nothing that you can do about it. And it's not like I'm wondering how many people are watching that.
Which one? Oh my God. You know what it is? I know exactly what it is. So like, you know how you have your screen and you have like it's like your timeline and you have all your stuff. If you have the tiniest little text, title, slice of a clip, slice of audio that is at that 40-minute mark down on the end of the line, it thinks that. Why did you not tell me? I'm about to hang up right now and go like cry in a corner of mortification right now. Are you kidding? It's up there?
It is up there. Because I didn't tell you because I was like, you already were frustrated. You were already frustrated that you lost your video. And that was the one that you re-recorded. You didn't do your voiceover.
It's the Bella Boulevard one. Oh my God, no. It's got almost 500 views. 500, not a single one of y'all was like, girl. You guys all suck.
I want to know how many people watched all 40. You need to look at the analytics and see like how many people watched it. Because there's when you click on it, it's like how long they watched it and like when they fell off.
Oh, like 90% of my views dip at like the 3-minute mark. And I'm always like, it has to be me.
That's true. Like it goes from like 90, like 70% at the 3-minute mark. But then you have like a sharp drop off. Mine is
I cannot believe not a single person. I'm over here looking at the comments on this thing. Not a single person.
So as you're freaking out,
everybody's telling me what to do with the houses. Nobody's telling me that there's 20 minutes of
black air.
Oh my God. I want to die. I don't even want to finish this episode.
So let me tell you about one of my, I think the only time I've had any type of fail, and I don't even really think that it was a fail. It was more of a camera issue. My camera is mounted to the wall. It stays on the wall. Does it ever come off? When we went to California, I didn't want to take my big digital SLR. And I wanted, because we were going to be at Disney, we were going to be at the WB studio. So we were seeing like Harry Potter stuff. We were going to see the Friends stuff, all kinds of stuff. Are you watching your video?
No, I'm trying to find where the drop-off point is. I don't know where to find, like, how do I know how far people got?
I'll show you how it is at the end.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I took my recording camera with me to California. Took a ton of photos of everything. All my Disney photos. Like I said, we went and did the WB tour, so we saw the Friends set, the Big Bang set, and Gilmore Girls. And somebody stole my camera at the airport when we were coming home. When I got back, I had 1, no photos of the entire trip, and 2, I had no way to video anything for YouTube. And I was devastated. I was like, I don't know what to do. And so luckily I did replace it with the exact same camera. It was a $600 lesson because I was like, what am I going to do? So now that's another reason why it stays mounted to the wall.
Yeah, that's when my brain's like, keep the camera. Could you send me the SD card back? Like,
I posted in like a bunch of Facebook groups, scrapbooking Facebook groups, and like basically said that here's the camera. I do not care about it. No questions asked. if you will mail me the SD card, that is all I care about. And I posted that in like a bunch of scrapbooking groups and said, if anyone is in the California area and is willing to post this on their own like community page, like please do it. And a ton of people did post it. No, obviously no one ever said anything. I have a feeling that somebody from like security stole it, because I had it before I went to security. I remember having it before we went to security, and then once we got on the, I didn't think to look when we were on the plane and at the airport and stuff like that, but I didn't have it when we got home. So it had to have been at the airport somewhere.
I'm still spiraling over here. I think I can cut it in YouTube, and I mean there's just a big black. I would like, because guaranteed I haven't tossed the video for this yet. I don't delete them till it's been like a month, mostly because I'm lazy. But it's usually the last step in my process is putting stuff on galleries. And then to me, once it lives on galleries and the video lives on YouTube, I can delete all the stuff. So it's typically when I go delete the video. Normally, if there's a problem with a video, I will pull up the file in my software, fix it, pull down the messed up one, lose the views, and put the new one up. This thing has 500 views on it. I'm not... Someone try to fix it on like YouTube, please. Please let me fix it.
That just means that 500 people do not care about...
I'm extra spicy that you didn't tell me.
I didn't.
Y'all will tell me when I spell something wrong, but nobody wants to tell me that I have 20 minutes of just blacked out footage. That is mean.
Okay, so then that goes to our very last topic. Why do we still do this? And it is perfect in this current mood that you are in. Why do you still do this? Why do you hustle after all of this? Why are we still here? Why are we still creating?
I think for me, it's the community. Like, I've made friends sharing online. I like the back and forth from like classes. I like that the videos is like the extension of the hobby, and it opens the topic of talking about products and talking about techniques and how did you do this and where did you buy that? Oh, hey, you mentioned this. I bought this. I love it. Like, I like that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the editing just enough to deal with it. I am learning that I very much do not enjoy editing short form content.
I'm right there with you.
I feel like it's like trying to teach a very old dog new things, and I'm just like, why is this so much harder? Why is something that's a minute long harder
than a 40-minute video that's actually 20? Okay, so for me, I would agree. The community, the people I've met, the friends I've made in this hobby in general, scrapbooking has, some of my greatest friends have come from scrapbooking. But I feel like for me as well, it's about the amount of things that I have learned from other content creators, and I hope to be that for somebody else.
I was going to say, I feel like for you specifically, it also gives you that teaching outlet, which goes back to like, I think you have a teaching style type of channel. So, and I have more of like a show and tell type of vibe. Look at what I made. Isn't it pretty?
So, you know that I'm on ColieBing design team, which is a Disney kind
You're
of
welcome.
hybrid scrapbooking.
You're welcome.
But the coordinator recently said something to me that was a very high compliment to me. What she said was, you have encouraged so many people to try hybrid scrapbooking because of your tutorials and because of your content. And so even though I am creating very specific content with Disney hybrid scrapbooking, right, there's other companies out there that are doing digital content, and there's other ways that you can hybrid scrapbook.
Yeah, somebody can take your tutorial and a completely different branded hybrid product and still follow the same thing. And which was why I was on your butt about it. And I'm like, hello, this is a perfect storm. This is a perfect thing. Like, you would be able to have tutorials and show people how to do this while you're also learning how to do this. And you're also itching that editing thing and, you know, picking apart the different layers and doing like so much prep before you even print anything, like all those things that like you get off on. Like, it was a perfect fit. And you were like, I don't want to do a design team. And I'm like, do it.
Yes. So I think that's one of those things that I really do enjoy is stuff like that. I feel like my
Yeah,
channel encourages other people.
1,000%.
So that's why I still do it and why I love it and why I'm still here creating content 7 years later. All right, guys. So Nicole is going to go over there and spiral a little bit more. And
Yes, yes, yes.
and I'm going to go enjoy that spiraling. So next time on Hear Us Out, Nicole and I are going to watch each other's very first process video. So Nicole's not watching hers, I'm not watching mine, but we are going to critique it, which is going to play into this episode because we talked about our early days and how we got started. So it'll be interesting to see how the other person takes that aspect. So what Nicole said, how do I see baby Nicole?
Right? Be nice to her. Be nice to her. She was alone.
So make sure that you catch us next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you like this episode, make sure you follow the show so you don't miss what's coming next.
We're so glad you joined us today, whether you were gluing, cutting, or just avoiding your photo backlog.
Until next time,
Pass the scissors.